how down and out he was. She was always very supportive of him, and we've kept each other on Facebook, and she does some really great work in her church. So when Brandon said he was looking for speakers, she was the first person that came to my mind because I know how strong her faith is. So here's Alicia.
Thank you to Keisha and Brandon for having me. I appreciate being invited into Chris. And yeah, like she said, I was telling people at my church, I was like, I've never been to the church. I don't know nobody. I was like, I don't know. And I was like, I said, I only met her on Facebook. I don't really know, you know. But she's so, super sweet and everything. And like she said, we had a mutual friend. I've known him since high school. And last I saw him, he was not good. And I ran into him a couple of years later. Like, he was stumbling when I saw him. I ran into him at a pet store. And he's stumbling, and I couldn't even understand him. And I was like, oh man, you know. And I saw him, and he was gone, and I didn't hear from him in years. And he caught up with me on Facebook and everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, how are you? You know. And he's like, you know, I'm just seeking the Lord. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. You know. So we would talk, and he would call me and all this stuff. And then he got into a little bit of trouble and everything, and Chris contacted me, and so I think it's been over a year or something like that. And then I was just so honored that she would even think of me for this, and she does not know my story or whatever. So she sees what's on Facebook, and not that I'm not real on Facebook. I share my heart and things like that, but a lot of people don't know my story. And so this is a great opportunity. I'm very thankful that I have this opportunity to do that, and I hope that somebody gets something out of it. Again, my name is Alicia. I have been in Ocala since I was about 12 years old. I'm a Navy brat. I was born in Japan. I am a mutt. I am Filipino, Mexican, Irish, and Scottish. So I am a mix of things and everything. So my whole family's military. I have a big, huge heart for military and service people. But I grew up Catholic, and it's very cultural that I grew up Catholic, both on the Filipino side, Mexican side, all that stuff. So all I ever knew was, this is what I call Catholic mentality. And I don't mean all Catholics, so I'm not judging Catholic, whatever, but I had this idea of, I'm good, I'm Catholic. You know, I'm like, I felt like I was in this club. I'm good, I'm Catholic. People be like, are you saved? I'd be like, I'm Catholic. I'm like, oh, good. I don't know what you're talking about, this sickness, but I'm Catholic, I'm good. So anyways, but I thought that way for years, but I didn't really understand. I went to Sunday school. I loved going to Sunday school and everything, and but I didn't really understand. And I knew that Jesus died. I didn't know he died for me, though, and that made the biggest difference. But I didn't really understand. I just knew that they killed him, and I was like, why'd they kill him? You know, I'm a little kid, like, that's scary. Why'd they kill him? You know. So I don't know if any of y'all ever saw Jesus Christ Superstar or whatever. That was scary. I was like, what are they doing to Jesus? You know. But anyway, so I grew up thinking, you know, with a Catholic mentality, and just like, okay, I'm good, I'm saved. I've been baptized, I had my first communion, but I never got to my confirmation. Because when I was 12, my parents divorced, and we moved to Florida, and that's how I ended up in Ocala. And my mom picked Ocala because of the animals, because I said, being little, I want to be a vet when I grow up. And then I'm like, oh, I gotta do all that? I'm not gonna do that. Anyways, but we moved to Ocala, and we didn't go to church because, you know, being Catholic, my mom's like, I'm divorced now, I can't go to church, you know. So we didn't go to church. I got invited to a Baptist church because I sing. That's another thing. So I'm a singer. I've been singing since as long as I could. But I was singing in high school, and it was a friend from high school. She said, hey, we're doing a tour in Georgia. And she's like, we're going to sing, and we get to go to Six Flags. I was like, Six Flags, and I get to sing? I am in. Let me go to that church. So I went there, and I really, I loved the youth group. There's just something about it. It's very life-giving, and I'm like, man. And then, like, I was used to hymns. You know, just regular Catholic hymns, you know. And then when I heard this music, I was like, whoa, this is like normal music. I'm like, I like this, but it's talking about God and stuff. I'm like, this is nice. I was like, I like this. It was a first for me. So I really, those songs would touch me, and we would sing them, and we went to orphanages and all different places in Georgia and other churches, and I would just be up there crying, you know, and I really felt the presence of God, but I still didn't know it. And I got turned away from that church because there was a lot of condemnation in that church. There's a lot of people getting in other people's business, telling them how to do things, whatever. Now, there's a way to be helpful, to be truthful, like always, you know, speak the truth, but that condemnation is what got me, and I'm like, I don't know about this. I was like, I don't like this, then I stopped going. So when I was 17, I graduated high school. When I was 18, I got married. I had known him for 4 years, but I didn't start dating him until I was 18. And he was in the military. And I won't spend too much time on this, but basically September 11th changed our lives forever. Yeah. I know that everybody remembers that moment that happened, and it changed my life. And I did not realize that it changed my life forever until this past September 11th. And I thought about all the things, like so much has happened since then. My husband's now my ex-husband. He went on 3 deployments. He, at the end, he told me, I don't know what happened. I lost my morals. And he cried to me. He's like, I don't know what happened. I just lost my morals. I didn't mean what I did. I'm so sorry what I did. But he continued to do it. He had affairs and all this stuff. And I would have held on, but he wouldn't let go. He wouldn't stop. So we waited 7 years to have my son. So we have a son. I have a beautiful boy named Ethan. He's my whole world. And my son, God worked through my son. My son has no idea. I think about how my son has no idea what he has done and what he does for people and what he's done for me and how God used him. Because when I was pregnant, I went back to my Catholicism, and I'm like, he needs to be baptized. So I'm like freaking out. I'm like, I need to go back to church. He needs to be baptized, because I'm thinking that's what's going to save him. So my very first Mother's Day, he was about 5 months old, and I started going back to Catholic church. I founded a Catholic church here, and I got him baptized on Mother's Day. And I'm like, okay, you know, and it just became really important for me. I'm like, he needs to know about God. He needs to know about God, you know. So that's what got me back into church. Then I went through my divorce, and when I went through my divorce, I'm like, oh, I'm a single mom. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, I felt like I had no hope. I felt like I don't know how I'm gonna do this. People are gonna look at me, you know. I'm like, they're gonna judge me. I don't know, you know. And it was really heartbreaking, and I felt like I wasn't going to get through it. So I had to go to a different church, because he started going to church, and he would never go to church with me. He was with somebody else, and he would go to church with her, so I had to find a different church. So I found another Catholic church, and I started going there, and I would weep, and I didn't know what it was, but I figured out later. I just felt condemned. Like, I felt like I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here. People are looking at me with my baby. Where's her husband? Like, all this head trash. That's what that is. Head trash. So I'd be there and I'd cry, and I just stopped going, because I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. So I dated a little bit and stuff, and I just kept feeling this pull. And I'm like, you need to go to church. You need to go to church. I was like, I need God. But I don't even know what to do yet. So I'm like, well, I don't feel good at this Catholic church, you know. So I talked around to some people. They told me about a non-denominational church. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't sound too scary. I was like, it's non-denominational, so it doesn't sound too scary. So I first started going to church at the Springs. And it was nice. People were friendly. I went there. I didn't feel condemned. I didn't feel like anybody was looking at me funny. And I got to hear the word and stuff, and I'm like, okay, this is nice. So I started going, and at the time I worked every other weekend, so I could only go every other weekend. And then it got to the point where I was like, if we get up in time, we'll go. And I'm like, oh, we didn't make it, you know. And then I just had some stuff going on, and I just got to a point where it's like, no, I need this. So I made it a point to go. Then somebody told me that another church, another non-denominational church, had Saturday night service. So then I could go on the weekends that I was working, because I could go to the evening service. So that church is Meadowbrook. And I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And let me tell you that a story about pickles changed my life. Pickles. Like the kind you get on a burger, okay? I will quickly share this story, but the pastor shared this story, and he said that him and his wife went to a burger place, and they like extra pickles on their burgers. So they're like, can we please get extra pickles? And they're like, yeah. So they get their food, they sit down, the wife takes a bite, there's no pickle in it, right? And she's like, oh, they didn't put one pickle on there. And she's like, can you please go get me some more pickles? And he's like, all right, you know, being the hero, you know, he's like, all right, I'm gonna get some extra pickles. Well, he comes up to the counter, and the girl at the counter's kind of like blowing him off, not really, like, you know. And he's like, excuse me? And she's like, you know. And he's like, we ordered extra pickles. Could I just get like a cup of extra pickles? And she's like, oh. So she turns around, gets him some pickles, hands it over, and whatever. He brings it back. There's only like 2 pickles. She's like, oh, I really want extra pickles, you know. So he's like, oh my gosh, you know. But he's like, but I want to do this for my wife. So he's like, oh, like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know, like, you know. So he goes over to her, and her arms are crossed, and she's like. And she's just like, has this look like, you again? You know? And at that moment, the pastor said, he said, sometimes we look at God that way. That she's the girl behind the counter. That you again? Really? What'd you do now? What do you need? And that changed everything for me. Because I had all this condemnation that I didn't even know I had. I had things that I did when I was younger that I regretted, that I lived with, and I didn't know it bothered me. Being divorced and all this stuff, I felt like I did not know that I could have a relationship with God. It made a world of difference, and to know that He wasn't looking at me like, I know what you did, and whatever, figure it out. That was life-changing for me. So a story about pickles is how I began my relationship with God. So that changed everything. And Meadowbrook was really far from where I was living at the time, but I just felt so spiritually fed that I was like, I don't know how I'm going to have the gas money to get there, but I'm going to go there every weekend, and I did. And I was able to. So I became a member of the church, and I had inquired about, I saw their worship team. I started attending there during the summer, and I didn't know that they had a choir, because they're off for the summer. So I had inquired and said, hey, do you guys do any singing, like outreach type singing? I'm like, maybe I can get involved, because I'm not even thinking about worship team. I'm like, oh, that's beyond me, you know, like, I don't know about that. So they got my message, and they called me, and they said, hey, we have a choir, would you like to come try out? I was like, oh, cool. I was like, I'll be in a choir all day, you know. So they called me, invited me to do that, so I started on the choir and everything, and I started serving there. And then eventually I ended up on altar team, and where I was praying for other people, and that is so out of my box, you know. But I just felt really led to do that. So I really had some great experiences praying for people that were, you know, receiving salvation and everything, and I started doing that. And we did a Christmas program, and after our Christmas program was over, the vocal director came to me, and she said, you know, one of the girls came up to me, and they were just saying, you know, about how you sing and da-da-da. She's like, I know I auditioned you, but I want to audition you again, and maybe give you some worship team opportunities for some of the other stuff that we do. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, people like ask for this stuff. They're like, how can I get on the worship team? How do I get on the worship team? And I didn't even ask, and she's coming to me. I'm like, whatever you need me to do. And I was like, wow, I just felt this door open, and I'm like, God, use me wherever. So I had that opportunity come up, and then I just made this decision. I had already been baptized, but I was like, you know what, I want to make that decision for me. And this was kind of like the equivalent of Catholic confirmation. I was like, this is going to be my commitment to God to do this. So I was really excited. I'm going like this. I'm like, just as soon as I, you know, that pickle story, I'm going like this, right? So I decided to get baptized. And I started an altar team. I was on the choir, you know, and I got the extra opportunities to do some more things in the church. And then my life was perfect. Who believes that? Right? Right? Yeah. No. Actually, one of the hardest times of my life came after all those good things were happening for me. I ended up in a relationship that was the most toxic relationship I've ever been in. I've probably sinned more in my life, done more things than I ever have after receiving that salvation and everything. And it's like I literally woke up one day and was like, how did I get here? I didn't even realize how it happened, like the smallest little things that you just let happen, like you're just like, oh, this is okay, and then it just smacks you in the face, and it's not okay. And this guy was, I was compelled to him because he had so much hurt. He was abused severely as a child in both ways. By step-parents and things like that, and I just felt very drawn to him, and I wanted to take care of him. But in my head, I knew, you can't save him, But I was like, but if I'm just friends with him, and then friends turn into more, and then I'm doing things like, my best friend does not even know. And you know how girls are with their best friends, they tell you everything. No, there are things my best friend does not know to this day. I ended up, during that time, having to have surgery. I had 5 infections in my body, like masses, where I had to have them drained. And it was like unexplainable, like where did this come from, you know? I had tonsillitis 3 times, never had tonsillitis in my life. I had to have my tonsils removed, which is very painful as an adult. I was sick all the time. And then I wasn't doing altar team anymore. I wasn't serving, forget that, I was not serving. I was not going to church all the time. And when I quit serving, I had told somebody, they're like, why aren't you serving? And I was like, I can't sell popcorn anymore. And he's like, what? And there's this joke that like popcorn sells itself. Like if you're at a game, you know, people are like, yeah, I want some popcorn, and people start smelling it, and they're like, oh yeah, no, that smells really good, I want that popcorn. Like popcorn sells itself. So, and I told him, I was like, I can't sell popcorn today. I don't have it. I knew I didn't have it, and I didn't know why. And then I realized, like I said, I woke up one day and I'm like in this relationship, I'm like, how do I even get out? I don't even know how to get out of this. I'm like, how do I stop? Because for me to tell him, hey, I can't do this anymore, or hey, no, things need to be different. And when I did, he was like, what? He's like, that's old-fashioned stuff. He's like, no, that's old-fashioned stuff. You didn't need to do all that. That book was written so many years ago. That was written for their time. No, it is not. So I went back and forth trying to get out of this relationship, and he was actually living with me at the time. I'm like, I don't even know how to get him out of my house, you know? And anyway, so what ended up happening was I had broken off with him, and it was really ugly, and but we were still living together, so it was really hard. And he lost his job. And when he called me to tell me that, I said, what are you going to do? And he's like, well, I guess I've got to go live with my mom. And I swear, I felt this door shut, like God shut it, like no more. That he shut that door, and I just started crying because it was something I couldn't do myself. And I'd been praying for a way out. And it was something I couldn't do myself, and God, I felt that door shut so hard, and I knew it was done and over with, and I don't talk to him anymore or anything. He moved out of the city and everything. So, also, what happened prior to that, I was in some situations, I got put in situations that I would say my husband was put in the sense of, I was in a relationship prior to this, what I call the toxic relationship, where he treated me so well and everything, but I just didn't love him. And it gave me an understanding of, oh, this is how he must have felt. Now, I'm not condoning what my ex did or anything like that, but God gave me this experience to understand at least a point of view, and I was able to forgive him for that. Amen. And when I told him I forgave him, now let me tell you that he wasn't talking to me. He treated me like I did it to him, like I cheated on him. He would not talk to me. He would literally pick my son up, turn around, and walk away. Did not say one word to me. It was terrible. So I was so nervous because I felt like I needed to tell him that I forgave him. And I'm like, it's probably going to go in one ear, out the other. He probably is not going to hear me. He's probably going to, why are you going to tell me that? Whatever. So, but anyway, so one day I cried on the way to go meet him, and I'm like, God, give me the strength to tell him I forgive him. Because he made me nervous. I didn't know how to feel. So I told him, I said, I'm going to tell you that I don't agree with what you did. I don't think you handled it right, but I don't blame you for everything. I recognize that there were things that I did too. I said, you know, maybe it's like 40-60. I said, maybe it was 70-30, but I said, I know it wasn't all you. I said, but I want you to know that I forgive you.
Wow.
And he said, And I was like, okay, I don't know what that means, you know. And he says, he's like, all right. And then he's like, well, I don't think I'll ever be happy. And I'm like, aren't you with the girl of your dreams now? You know, that you left me for? and I was like, what? So, anyways, I saw him later that day because he brought my son back to me, and he said, hey, I want to tell you what you said to me. He's like, that really touched me, and thank you. And I was like, who's this guy? I'm like, thank you, God. Oh my gosh, we have a breakthrough, you know. So things haven't been easy with that relationship since, but it's a lot better. And just that, to be able to tell him I forgive him, that was so huge. And then God put me in another situation and give me some leeway with this. I started going back to school, and I walk in the class, I'm like, I don't know nobody, you know, like, so I sit next to this guy, and he was really nice, and anyways, we became friends when he was married, okay? So we became friends, and he was a godly man and everything, and he just said some really good things to me that encouraged me and everything, and so this is when I'm still figuring out my relationship with God and stuff, so it was really good, but I ended up having feelings for him, and I'm like, no, I don't. That's why I said, give me some leeway. So I'm thinking, yeah, so I'm like, man, this is terrible. Oh my God, help me with this. I don't want to, you know, whatever, right? And I had ran into them, I never met his wife, but I saw them at a store. And I saw him and his 3 kids and his wife, and I got so heartbroken. And I was just like, oh, that stinks. It really hurts my feelings, you know. But anyways, but nothing was ever crossed, nothing was ever said, nothing, right? Then one time we were in class, and I was trying to write him something, and so, because we're trying to be quiet, so I wrote him something, and then he said, what I read was, you looked pretty. And I was like, oh, no. I was like, I need to talk to this guy, this is not happening, I am not with his family, da-da-da-da-da, right? Well, I read it again, that's not what he said. It said, you looked pretty beat up. But let me tell you, I was so relieved, and I was like, thank God I feel relieved, though. You know? I'm like, thank God I wouldn't have done anything. Like, it gave me some confidence. Like, thank God, you know? So anyways, but after that happened, there was another time where we were outside after class talking late, and his wife called and goes, oh, I gotta go. I was like, all right, yeah, see you later. And I just felt so terrible. And I was thinking, it made me think, I'm like, man, I don't know how anybody who has an affair, who's the other woman, how they can do that knowing that the other guy that they love, or no, I didn't love him, but still, is going home with somebody else. I was like, that's terrible. That's a terrible feeling, you know? And so it put me in the shoes of the woman that my husband cheated on me with. And as soon as I realized that, I was able to forgive her. And my feelings